Come on in, welcome to my home. Today we are cleaning out my kitchen cabinets. I'm cleaning out most of my kitchen, not the appliances today, that'll be a whole nother video. But we are doing the kitchen cabinets, and there are a few challenges with this kitchen and a few things to keep in mind. One of the first challenges is it's a relatively small kitchen. Not hideously small, or not tiny or micro, but it is relatively small. Second thing is the placement of things. Some of that is sort of weird. What I found is that my cabinets are placed in some of the cabinets are placed in areas that don't make a whole lot of sense. I am a relatively tall person and I'm a fairly big person. The kitchen cabinet that is by my stove is problematic. It needs to have stuff in it which is just there for the long term, because if I'm cooking, getting down on my hands and knees to get things out that are in that blind corner, not so cool. The other part is stuff over my refrigerator. It is just awkward. So the things over there are relatively long-term things that I don't need all the time. Now let's talk about how I've divided out my kitchen. My kitchen is divided out in basically 3 stations. I have my baking station right next to my refrigerator, my cooking station, which is between my stove and my sink, and then my cleaning area, which is just above my dishwasher. This works out well for me. It might not work out well for you, which is fine. You need to look at your kitchen and see how the layout works. How do you work? Does it work for you? And then you have to be realistic about where do you have room to put things. In my case, I have in the built-in part of the kitchen, I have a total of 5 drawers. 5 drawers, period, end of statement, 5 drawers. That's all there is. 3 of them are small drawers and 2 of them are deeper drawers. So I have to figure out how to do all of that. Then when it comes to cabinets, in the lower part, I do have my one cabinet that I use for trays, I have a Lazy Susan, I have an under sink cabinet, and I have that drawer cabinet. That's it. End of story. I do have my countertop, which is a bar, which I do use for when I'm doing videos, and if I'm home and I'm doing things, that's used as my serving area. So yeah, that works out pretty well. Then my upper cabinets, I do have a nice spice cabinet. I do have a corner cabinet which I use my larger items in, the overflow kind of items. Over my oven I do have, or my range, I do have a cabinet where I put in my mason jars, you know, the tall ones that really won't fit anywhere, they go there. On the other side of that are the other jars and things I use to make oat milk and those sort of things. Then I have my baking items, which that cabinet will probably change the most. And then I have my regular kitchen cabinet items. There really isn't that much room in this kitchen, so I'm not sure how long this is going to take, but we will go through it step by step. I will show you everything which I do, and we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to clean out the inside of the cabinets first, going from top to bottom, and then we'll do the outside of the cabinets. But like I said, appliances, whole nother video. Not doing that today. Another thing to remember is the stuff on my counter is basically there for decoration for when I do the videos, or it is there for I actually cook with it. So yeah, the first thing that we want to do is we're going to move things, we're going to clean out the cabinets and switch some of the things that are in a cabinet that we know don't stay there. We're going to move them to the cabinet that they will stay in. Some of the things will go, some of the things will stay, but we'll just have to see. Okay, for those of you who are wondering why I did not clean off the top of my cabinets, I literally just did that when I took down my Christmas decorations, so those are clean. But okay, first cabinet, we're going to unload it, wipe it down, put the stuff back. And I'm going to do that for each cabinet, so that'll make it easier. I'll admit, the coffee beans in the baking cabinet were a bit of a surprise. I'd forgotten I'd even put coffee in there. So now I'm going to put the stuff back, and I'm going to put it back, I mean, pretty much the way it came out. So yeah, that is something. And like I said, I'm not going to put a thing in there, a shelf liner in there, because that stuff comes in and out all the time, and the shelf liners, I actually feel if you're using something that comes in and out all the time, they get in the way, they move around, they shift, so it's not worth it. So okay, for the shelf for the cups, I made this. You're wondering what this is? Well, when I put it in place, it will keep the lids from rolling down, and I'll just put the new ones, the clean ones, in the back, and then the older ones will roll forward. Makes sense. So in my corner cabinet, I decided to make an oat milk making station up at the top. That's where all the stuff that I need basically to make oat milk is. And then down below is my coffee and tea station. Even though I don't drink that much of either, it's still there because other people stop by and they drink both. So yeah, that's where that is. Now next to that is, of course, my baking and dried peanut butter station. And there's lots of space left over because I'm getting rid of stuff which I do not need. So there's lots of space to put more stuff in there. Then my dishes, which are next to that gets rotated through all the time, so I don't think I'm going to do anything with that because I clean it out all the time because I use the dishes all the time. Alright, so now we are on to the drawers. The drawers are pretty straightforward and pretty easy because I will leave that top drawer exactly as it is. It is going to keep my baking mats in there because, well, that's where I really want them. But let's do the next drawer. Okay, my next drawer is my incredibly random drawer with things like microplane, ice cream scoops, thermometers. They're random things, but they are things that I occasionally use way more often than the next drawer. Next drawer is my funnels and my sieves. I rarely ever use those. In fact, a couple of them are going to get moved because the one I only use for the oat milk and the other, it'll probably stay there. But let's get going with that. Okay, so the knife drawer, I'm not doing anything with the knife drawer simply because I get in there all the time, like all the time, and the knives get moved around a lot. I just cleaned it out recently because I was moving the knives around, so the knives I'm going to leave as is. Okay, let's talk about the cabinet that I absolutely hate, the blind corner cabinet. I am too big, too tall, too everything to get down in there. So the only stuff which I have down in there is stuff that I don't use that often, or it's stuff that I can grab while just bending over, like my popcorn maker, my coffee maker goes down there, simply because it's stuff that I don't use that often. I have the attachments to my KitchenAid. They are down there because, once again, don't use them that often. But everything else, it's just, to me, wasted space because the blind corner cabinet is next to impossible to get to. I hate that cabinet. I know that there are things that you can buy to, utilize your blind corner cabinet, and I am looking at those, but right now can't afford them, so I just sort of leave it empty, and I don't absolutely need the space, so yeah, that's a thing. Okay, let's talk the sheet pan cabinet. This is a cabinet that actually had 2 shelves in it. I had more sheet pans. I thought it would be a better space. Now what you will notice is that down below, sometimes I don't dry the sheet pans out enough, so that gets icky. So I am going to put a piece of liner underneath it. But yeah, that is super useful. Gets my sheet pans out of the way, gets my cooling racks out of the way. Use this, love this. I wish I had another one. When it comes to the Lazy Susan, I'll be the first to tell you the reason it's dirty is because I'm lazy. Yeah, my name's not Susan though. The problem is I have a tendency to put things away a little bit before they're completely dry, or yeah. So we're going to spray that off, clean it out, and then put things back in there. Not much stuff goes in there because, once again, it's a Lazy Susan. I think that I want to replace that with something else that utilizes the space better, because you are very limited with the amount of space that you have for it. So cleaning the Lazy Susan, without getting undignified to clean it, I couldn't show you too much of that because I really had to get in front of it to clean it. I put everything that I wanted back in there. Underneath the kitchen cabinet, the sink cabinet, I knew that already had some problems with that happened way a long time ago. So what I did is I just organized the cleaning stuff and took out what did not need to be there. Products that I no longer use, that sort of thing. Couldn't really hold the big trash bags, but I might find a different place for them because they really do not need to be in there. Now the next thing is to wipe down the outside of the cabinets. I'm going to use Murphy's oil soap to do that, wash them down, and then we will do the floors and it will be all done. Okay, so the kitchen is all done. I think it looks pretty good. Hopefully it will work really well. This starts off my spring cleaning. Yes, spring cleaning is coming up right away. So the cabinets are all washed down, the floor is mopped, everything looks great. And I think it will function completely wonderfully. We'll keep you in tune with that one. Now you'll notice that I did not do the rolling black cabinet, but that's simply because I use that all the time. That thing has to be cleaned all the time. It's simply because of the videos that I do. So yeah, showing you me cleaning that, yeah, just be cleaning something that was already clean. So yeah, you got to skip that part. But I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about that. It was really interesting because some of the things which I didn't think were dirty were actually dirty, and some of the things which I thought were dirty were really dirty. I need to clean more often. Yeah, we'll get around to that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know, and I hope I get to see you again next time. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You can share it. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the other videos on this channel. I love making these videos for you, and I hope I get to see you again next time.